Set sooner rather than later, following an extraordinary conflict called the Ruin, a local area in North America has lived in serenity without the presence of feelings or variety, as these would create clashes. The residents have additionally had their recollections cleaned. We follow youthful youngster Jonas, Brenton Thwaites, as he rides his bicycle with his two dearest companions Asher, Cameron Monaghan, and Fiona, O'Dea Rush. It is the day leading up to when their function in which they will be appointed their situations locally, something that makes Jonas rather anxious. The three companions go to the sustaining center where the babies are. Jonas' dad, Alexander Skarsgård, is working there. The children find a crying child, whom father says is named Gabriel. They shouldn't have a clue about the kid's name, yet father says he murmurs the child's name to him to relieve him. Fiona, having a characteristic ability with kids, can quiet the child. Jonas eats at home with his dad, mother, Katie Holmes, and more youthful sister Lily, Emma Tremblay. They talk about their new affections for the afternoon. However, Jonas must be exact with his language, as specific sentiments like apprehension or love are illegal. He inquires as to whether they were anxious before they were allocated to their ongoing situations, for dread that essentially nothing remained for them. Father guarantees Jonas that the older folks have been watching him intently since he was a child. The following day is the function, got going with a presentation from the main senior, Meryl Streep. She shows up as a visualization since she can't be there face to face, however she can rehash the occasions that prompted the local area, as well as relegate the children to their positions. During the service, Jonas sees an elderly person, Jeff Extensions, investigating at him. Asher is given the occupation of a robot pilot. Jonas is skirted while different children are reported, and Fiona is allocated to be in the supporting place. The main senior then, at that point, gets to Jonas, expressing that he has every one of the 4 credits, knowledge, honesty, mental fortitude, and a capacity to look past, that persuaded the elderly folks to choose Jonas as the new recipient of recollections. Everyone begins reciting Jonas' name. The following day, Jonas starts his confidential preparation with the elderly person, who is known as the provider, as he is the person who gives recollections to the recipient. Jonas shows up at his home on the edge of the local area, neglecting a huge horizon. Jonas goes into the house and down to a library region where the provider presents himself and educates Jonas concerning his preparation. The provider holds every one of the recollections that preceded even the older folks can recall before the ruin. He snatches both of Jonas' wrists, sending him into a memory of blanketed woods, and of Jonas riding a sled down a slope. He can see himself looking and feeling energized. And afterward he comes to a lodge. Gabe is brought to Jonas' home by a medical caretaker from the supporting community, actually crying. They are relegated to look after him right now until he makes up for lost time. Lily reveres the child and believes that him should rest in her room. Jonas takes a gander at the child and faculties and association, where he accepts that Gabe will one day be chosen as he was. During the following instructional course with the provider, Jonas is given a memory of riding on a boat. The inclination to him is strong enough for him to begin to see tones around himself and the provider. He makes sense of for Jonas that the varieties, alongside the feelings, would permit everybody to feel clashing feelings that would deliver issues. He inquires as to whether he concurs that equality is vital, and keeping in mind that Jonas concurs, he accepts what he's simply seen is likewise extremely gorgeous. Jonas gets together with Fiona and Asher. Asher discusses how he's had the option to fly the robots near somewhere else, which he portrays as generally ranches and shakes, with 2 rocks contacting at the top, framing a triangle. Jonas offers to show them what he's been realizing by having them get plate and slide down an incline. They have a great time and snicker, and when Jonas heads toward help Fiona up, a voice lets them know they can't contact individuals outside their nuclear family. In the interim, the provider meets with the central senior over his preparation with Jonas. She cautions him to not recurrent the mix-up with the last collector, who is inferred to have committed suicide. Jonas' next meeting with the provider makes them play music on the piano and imparting a memory of involved with individuals moving and living it up. Jonas likewise sees himself and Fiona rushing to a tree and energetically kissing. The main senior contacts Jonas at home to get some information about the preparation he's gotten. Jonas has been told more than once that he isn't to examine his preparation, so he tells the main senior that he simply stays there and doesn't talk, and afterward returns home. In the following meeting, Jonas sees terrible recollections of an elephant being killed, as well as himself in the place of a fighter whose accomplice is gunned down. The pictures overpower Jonas. He later discovers that the past recipient, a young lady named Rosemary, Taylor Quick, was likewise troubled by the pictures she saw. Jonas sees a memory of the provider playing the piano close by Rosemary while she sings. Jonas likewise sees a projection of his dad and a medical caretaker in the sustaining focus with 2 children. The attendant takes 1 child while father is left with 1 child that is considered excessively frail. He infuses something into the child's head, killing it and afterward placing it in a case that is sent into a heater. Jonas is stunned to run over this disclosure of what they know as delivering into somewhere else, at the point when Jonas next sees Fiona. He recommends to her that she quit taking her morning infusions, which numb the feelings in everybody. He later takes her to the Triangle, where they and Asher delighted in going to. There, Jonas kisses Fiona interestingly. Jonas returns home and gains from father that he is set to deliver Gabe the following day. Around evening time, he slips away after check-in time to track down Gabe. Asher tracks down him and defies him, just to get smacked right upside the head by Jonas. Jonas comes to the sustaining center, with Fiona there to assist him with getting Gabe. They make a redirection that permits Jonas to get out with Gabe without getting found out, however not before Fiona kisses him one final time. Jonas bounces on a bike to get away. The older folks keep their watch on Jonas, however they lose him once he makes it outside the local area. The main senior sends Asher out on a robot to find Jonas and Gabe, and orders Asher to lose him. Asher finds Jonas stumbling into the desert, flying the robot over his companion to pull him up with a pillar. Jonas asks his companion to listen to him and perceive what the elderly folks are doing, and for Asher to trust Jonas. Asher consents and liberates Jonas and Gabe by dropping them in a waterway. The seniors watch video film of Fiona communicating with Jonas, assisting him and Gabe with getting away, as well as them kissing. These pictures befuddle the elderly folks. She is along these lines censured for aiding Jonas. Fiona is gotten to the chamber where father is prepared to deliver her into somewhere else. The provider, boss senior, and every other person sit in participation. The provider raises Rosemary, who is his little girl. He says he cherished her, and he couldn't care less to hear that word. Simple minutes before father is prepared to infuse Fiona, Jonas rides a sled past the boundaries of somewhere else with Gabe. This triggers a response where every one of the recollections, and the variety, return to the local area. Everyone starts to feel once more, with Fiona and mother both crying tears. In the last scene, Jonas, close frozen nevertheless conveying Gabe, strolls through the harshly cool, blanketed woods to find a cabin. A similar one seen from the provider's recollections. He assumes he hears individuals inside singing, however it could just be a reverberation. Whatever occurs, Jonas recognizes that the provider brought him and Gabe there. Jonas and the baby Gabe enter the cabin, leaving the result up in the air.